Putting Who Day in Your Day on the Adam and Adams Show.
Marie?
What?
Babe, can you go get me some more Cubanisto? I don't have any more Cubanisto, please.
Pardon? Mais ça va pas ou quoi? Mais va le chercher ton cubanisto. Lui, non? Il est fou, je crois pas. Merde.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Who Day Lounge. I'm your co-host, Cincy de France. Along with me is Adam. Say what's up, Adam.
What's up?
And welcome to a new episode of Adams and Adams, or Adam and Adams, whichever one. You guys can read it up there. Thanks for being with us. If you're here again, please click like and subscribe. And I know why you guys are all here today, because it's been a hectic week. Free agency, Bengals are signing people left and right. And all people want to know is, can Primož Roglič actually compete with Tadej Pogačar this year? I mean, he almost shit the bed in Paris-Nice. He had the lead. He needed a teammate to drop back to help him. He pulled out the yellow jersey in Paris-Nice, fortunately for him, but he came this close to pooping the bed. Are we really supposed to expect him to compete with Pogačar this year? Adam?
No idea.
Hard-hitting info. Thanks, Adam.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Putting Who Day in Your Day on the Adam and Adams Show.
All right. Today on Who Day Lounge, we have a lot to get to. Adam, how are you feeling about the Cincinnati Reds?
Listen, we don't have enough time to cover the Cincinnati Reds today. Are they rebuilding? Are they contending? You hear on one side, they're saying that, we're still here to compete. We've freed up some money through some of these trades to be able to get some free agents and to be able to contend. But on the other hand, we're going to sell off our biggest assets. They're stuck squarely in the middle. I'm confused. I have no idea what to expect this year. What about you?
Oh, I have no idea what to expect this year. There's a lot of upset people getting rid of Suarez, Jesse Winkler, Sonny Gray, Amir Garrett, and those are the names that we know. Because I couldn't go down the whole Reds roster with you. So yeah, it's kind of upsetting, but at the same time, they probably looked at Joey Votto and was like, hey, can we trade you? And Joey Votto said, hey, no, I like it here. I'm not moving. And they were like, because he has a no trade clause. So that's his right. And so now they're going to surround him with a bunch of minor leaguers, I guess. And there were a lot of people upset on like Cincinnati Reds Twitter. Which was worse? This fire sale, or like back in 2001 when we had like Pokey Reese and Dimitri Young. You remember that team?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like heartbroken when they got rid of Pokey Reese and Dimitri Young. And Sean Casey, the mayor, Todd Walker, the Todd father, Ken Griffey Jr. was on that team, Jason LaRue, and Kiz LaRue, and French means the street. So there's your French lesson for the day. Adam Dunn, Barry Larkin, Deion Sanders, primetime. Danny Graves, one of my favorite pitchers of all time. And Jose Rio was also on that team. And then they just and that was like the last time I was like really, really, really excited about Cincinnati Reds baseball. Speaking of Reds baseball, Adam, do you have a top 5 favorite baseball players for the Cincinnati Reds?
Funny you mentioned that. I actually compiled a list of top 5.
Oh, what a coincidence.
That is a strange coincidence. All right, I'll give you my top 5. All right. So I'm going to start with my number 1. Probably no surprise. My number 1 is one Peter Edward Rose, a.k.a. Chuck Hustle. Listen, we know all about his off-field stuff, his situation. He's not this king of the city personality. He's known for what he did on the baseball field. 4,256 career hits, all-time hit leader, a record that I think most would argue will never, ever be broken. He played the game unlike any other. Base on balls did not mean walk for Pete Rose. Base on balls meant sprint to first base. The only guy you'll ever see that tries to turn a double into a triple, and in doing so, dives, 4 foot off the ground as if he's diving off a diving board into a pool. The most exciting player I've ever seen play. Pete Rose is definitely my number 1. My number 2, you mentioned his name before you hit the record button, but the Cobra, Dave Parker. He was my, as a kid there for a period, he was my favorite player. I had his poster on my wall, larger than life figure, 6'5", just a massive dude. Really, really successful in Pittsburgh. The Reds traded for him in the mid 80s. I think it was 84, 85. Maybe he had a little bit left in the tank, and lo and behold, had a great career with the Cincinnati Reds. RBI machine, just played the game with this sort of this carefree nature in a good way. He was out there. You could tell he was just having fun playing baseball. His home run trot was just a stroll in the park for him. Just loved watching Dave Parker play. So he's my number 2. Number 3, Hall of Famer, Barry Larkin, shortstop, mainstay shortstop in the Reds lineup. I remember being at a game one time, went to a lot of games as a kid. At the time, Davey Concepcion. Yep, absolutely. Davey Concepcion was the Reds shortstop at the time, part of the Big Red Machine. And I remember there was a kid on deck. He's getting ready to pinch hit, or number 15. They announced him as Barry Larkin. And I just remember, wondering, well, who's this kid? Well, it turns out Barry Larkin had a great career with the Cincinnati Reds. Exciting to watch, excellent glove. He was always a guy that was, you kind of had to pitch around at times, especially his MVP season in, I think it was 95, 96. I think it was 90, anyway. 30-30 guy, just exciting to watch. Number 4, Joe Morgan. Admittedly, I didn't really see him play because he was before my time, but certainly plenty of highlights. Just a guy that, parents, your aunts and uncles talk about, when I was a kid, back-to-back MVP, just a great figure in the community. Just a gentleman, diminutive, a little bit smaller, but that didn't stop him. Had a great bat. One might argue that the Reds wouldn't have had the success they did in the 70s if it weren't for Joe Morgan. Number 5, I struggled with this one because there's a lot of players that kind of pinballed in my head, but I'm going to go with somebody that was really, really exciting. You already mentioned his name, Deion Sanders. Had 2 stints with the Reds, Mr. Primetime. Of course, he's probably more known for his accolades on the football field, but I just remember when he came to Cincinnati, and I want to say one of his first at-bats, if my recollection serves, I think he hit a home run. It was just kind of like, hey, I'm here in Cincinnati, get used to this. Just play with excitement. I really liked watching him play.
That's an awesome top 5 list.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's an awesome top 5. My guest room is a Cincinnati Reds themed guest room, and the only player who has his own picture on the wall is Dave Concepcion. He didn't make my top 5, but since you mentioned him, I thought I just
number 13.
Yep. And I'm going to start with number 5, before my time, Frank Robinson, for what he did on and off the field. He wasn't the manager of the Reds, but a great baseball player, Hall of Famer. Number 4, Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, like you said, the hit king. We don't need to go over that anymore. Number 3, all right, now this is where it gets a little bit wacky. Number 3, Glenn Braggs.
Your namesake.
Dude, Glenn Braggs was, kids, if you're making your favorite top 10 Cincinnati Reds baseball players and you don't mention Glenn Braggs somewhere in there, there's a pretty good chance he's going to reach through your computer and just grab you and choke the shit out of you. And he could do it. If there was ever a player who could do it, he could do it. He probably still could do it. As a matter of fact, if you don't believe me, Google Glenn Braggs. And obviously, one of those things like, where were you when this happened moments. Do you remember Adam? Dude, he swung the bat and broke the bat over his back.
Yeah, it was in the World Series in 90. And everyone watching thought, how in the world is this possible? By the way, kids, this is Glenn Braggs today.
Man, he's just, and that's with his shirt on.
Yeah, he's absolutely jacked. And he's probably he's probably in his 50s at this point.
Yeah, something. He has to be 50s or unless I'm just that old, 50s. Has to be, yeah.
You know what I remember most? Well, the bat over his back. But what's even more significant is before the Reds got to the World Series, they played the Pirates, and it was a really good series. And I think it was game 7 where I think who was batting? I think it was Bonilla or Camilo Martinez, somebody like that. But anyway, they hit a shot to right field, and it looked like it was going. It looked like it was yard.
Don't say it.
Okay, do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah.
Because you're getting into the territory for my number 2.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So anyway, he backs up against the wall, puts his glove up, and catches a would-be home run that saved the series, in my opinion. So yeah, he's a legend.
Number 2, Eric Davis. For that same reason, he was the first person I've ever seen play center field, jump up and rob somebody of a home run. Riverfront Stadium. We're sitting there. I remember I was in the stadium one time and he did this. He just jumped up. We all thought it was a home run and he caught the ball. And as a little kid, I was like, oh my God, it was like the best thing I've ever seen. Like through my child's eyes, it was like he flew. It was like he just took a rocket and just jumped up over the wall and brought a home run back.
And that was routine for him.
And it was routine for him. But he was the first person I ever saw do that. And then Glenn Brax came along and he did it as well. So yeah, and I knew where you were going with that. It was so Eric Davis. And I remember I wanted to go to Riverfront Stadium just to watch Eric Davis play. Eric Davis robbed somebody of a home run. Eric Davis, he was the guy we all imitated a batter stance. Eric Davis was mine. I'm left-handed, but I bat right-handed, and I blame it on Eric Davis. Because all I wanted to do, he had that little, he had the elbow up here, he had the wrist thing going, he had the one straight leg and the one bent knee behind it, just made it look so light and effortlessly. Easy for you to say. And he had a sweet swing for a right-hander. So I was like, oh man, I loved him. And he would steal bases. He was fast and whatnot. He started a brawl. Well, he didn't start the brawl, but against the New York Mets. Was it the Mets? I think it was the Mets. Well, anyway.
Mets or Giants, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I
remember. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, and I remember towards the end of his career, I thought we were gonna get Darryl Strawberry because they were best friends. And I thought, oh, he's gonna come to Cincinnati. Darryl Strawberry's gonna come to Cincinnati. Never did, never happened. But yeah, so number 2, just for the memories of being a kid, Eric Davis. And number 1, Brandon Phillips. All right, this is twofold. One is because one of my favorite players ever was Pokey Reese. He wasn't one of the best players or anything, but just the way he played, he was flashy, he had his hat to the side and everything. And like I mentioned before, they started trading off those pieces. And when they traded Pokey Reese, I was down in the dumps. And then we got Brandon Phillips. And I'm like, who is this guy? I don't care, bring Pokey Reese back. And then Brandon Phillips was like, oh man, he was great for the Cincinnati Reds. So he helped me get over losing Pokey Reese. He played great for us. And he gave us one of the best quotes in sports history. And it caused a brawl the next game. And that's another list we need to do. Top favorite brawls in Major League Baseball. The quote from Brandon Phillips: I'd play against these guys with one leg. We have to beat these guys. I hate the Cardinals. All they do is bitch and moan about everything. All of them. They're little bitches. All of them. I really hate the Cardinals. Compared to the Cardinals, I love the Chicago Cubs. Let me make this clear. I hate the Cardinals. One of the best quotes in sports history. Love that. And the next game, yeah, they started fighting before the game got started, basically, or at the bottom of the first inning. And yeah, that was the last time, unfortunately, that was one of the last times I got really excited about baseball in general. That was the last time I felt real vitriol towards another team when it came to baseball, unfortunately. So yeah. And yeah, we've mixed it up with the Pirates and the Cardinals since then. But yeah, that was one of my last I love baseball moments, was that right there. And it lasted for a year, and then,
Yep.
If I catch the game, I catch the game, and if I don't, I don't. I'm hoping it comes back a little bit, but yeah. So that's my top 5.
I love it.
Oh man, memory lane right there. Man, but your top 5 deserves a toast. So here's to your top 5.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, do you know what Brandon Phillips is up to these days?
I have no idea.
So he became part owner of a minor league team that's up the road in Lexington, Kentucky from me. And actually, as of last year, we're still playing. So still hitting bombs. So pretty cool.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like part owner and player?
Yeah. Lexington Legends. It's actually a fun place to watch a ball game. Take the kids. It's cheap. Seems pretty good baseball.
That's awesome. It's kind of like Pete Rose pinch hitting as the manager of the Reds. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of toast,
putting Who Day in Your Day on the Adam and Adams Show.
We are in the lounge. So I thought it would be a good idea to not necessarily drink on air or anything like that, but, just to celebrate the adult beverages. So I asked you for a wine suggestion. Do you have a wine suggestion?
I do. I'm actually I'm more of a fan of Reds myself.
Me too.
So one that's been my go-to here lately is one called Conundrum. It's out of Fairfield, California. It's not a real expensive bottle. I think I paid $15 for it. This is their 10th anniversary label. It's just I've gotten into the blends lately. To me, they suit my palate. I guess that's what you're supposed to say as a wine drinker. But it's good. It's fizzy. It's a little bubbly. Has the carbonation. It's real easy to drink. Very balanced. So Conundrum out of California would be mine. How about yourself?
All right. Well, first of all, save us a bottle. So next time we're in Cincinnati or near Lake Cumberland.
Deal.
Yeah. So we'll share that. Here. Now, this is brand new for my wife and I. We just discovered it like 2 weeks ago. And it is a Pinot Noir Bourgogne. So it's a French wine, and hopefully I can get that. 2019 John Bouchard Pinot Noir. And I love a Pinot Noir. This is kind of, it's expensive for me. So it was almost 11 euros. So that would be about $14. And I usually don't try to, I have a wine budget that I'm willing to not go over. So that's a little bit expensive, but it's lovely. It's a lovely red, not carbonated. But yeah, that's a great wine. New to the collection. Now, it's kind of spoiled me because I don't want to go back anymore. Because I used to like the cheap wines, and now once you get a nice, more expensive wine, you start kind of going up a little bit. But yeah, Bourgogne Pinot Noir, Jean Bouchard collection. And I will save a bottle for you guys next time you're here.
Appreciate that. And then you make a good point. You don't have to spend a lot of money to have a good wine. You can get some really, really good wines without paying a lot of money. Putting Who Day in Your Day on the Adam and Adams Show.
All right. So the big ticket item while we're all here is because Adam and I are going to talk about our favorite 5 DBs, cornerbacks in this year's NFL draft. I guess we'll have dueling top 5s. All right. Who wants to start? Do you want to start? Should I start?
Sure. I don't care to start. Okay. Hey, first, let's bring up the fact that the Bengals re-signed.
Free agency. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah. So the Bengals re-signed Eli Apple yesterday, 1-year deal, $4 million. Let's start there. What do you think about that signing?
$4 million. I mean, yeah, like he said, it was a no-brainer. Right now, there are 5 defensive backs on the roster, counting Trey Waynes, who they haven't officially let go. And I know 3 of their names, counting Trey Waynes. So yeah, we need cornerbacks. This is going to be an important position in the draft because we got center, we got right guard, Lyle Collins, the rumor. They might pick him up. That's kind of like fan service though at this point. What do you think about the Lyle Collins?
He's visited one team. He was released yesterday. He's visited one team. He's visited the Cincinnati Bengals. I think if they're smart, they have some money to play with. I think they sign him. That's my take. I'm
thinking that they're thinking they can release Trey Waynes, $5 million cap hit, save $10 million, use that $10 million to sign Lyle Collins. Lyle Collins, because that's what he was going to get in Dallas this year, right? He was scheduled to get that. Is Lyle Collins worth that?
You talked last week about wanting the Bengals to have a technician, somebody that can block in the pass game, and also somebody that can block in the running game. The biggest thing is blocking Joe Burrow. Can La'el Collins block Joe Burrow better than what they had last year?
Better than Isaiah Prince? Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'll give you that. $10 million better than Isaiah Prince? Literally $10 million. I don't think Isaiah Prince made $10 million, made $1 million last year. So that's going to be a pretty big hit. Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals are down to, I think I got this correct, $22 million left to spend. So if they do some type of one-year deal, $10 million or $11 million for La'el Collins, then they're already down to $11 million that they try to save for rookie deals, which means that they sign La'el Collins, they're finished. They're done as far as free agency is concerned, I think. Unless they release some people, work some stuff out, unless they have just changed their ways and they're just going to go all in or something like that. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're trying to get La'el Collins to come to Cincinnati for like $8 million a year, because we haven't heard about him signing with the Cincinnati yet. So
yeah, I don't think $8 million is going to do it, and I don't think a one-year deal is going to do it either. So
La'el Collins kind of feels like one of those guys that Dallas fans are looking at like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let him go get his money somewhere else.
If you look at his PFF, if you put any stock into PFF, which I do, his pass grade and his blocking grade is significantly better than anyone on the Bengals roster last year. He's a definite upgrade. I think he was in the 80s on in passing and run blocking. I mean, run blocking is a given for him. You can just watch the tape and see him just bulldozing people. The pass game, I think, is where obviously where he's have to be a significant upgrade to justify a longer term deal. Personally, I believe that he'd be worth it. You have 4 pieces now on your line solidified. That's pretty nice luxury to have before the draft.
I think the Bengals have done an excellent job. I can't believe I'm saying this. They have done an excellent job at freeing up the draft. No matter what happens when they get to 31, they don't have to reach. It's looking like they're going to draft a DB at this point. I mean, they literally are going to have 4 DBs, and one of them is Eli Apple. And so I think they're going to have to draft a DB in the first round. It's starting to look that way. All right, fine. You've convinced me. La'el Collins, I'll jump on board.
I mean, yeah, they've upgraded the line. They got some veteran guys. I think I read that when Brady returned, he called Kappa and said, "I want you back." And Kappa said, "Sorry, I'm going to play with Burrow." So that's kind of cool.
I heard he said, "Sorry, too late."
Yeah. Well, either way.
Yeah. And then when I saw Randy Gregory change his mind, I was like, "Oh no, is he going to change his mind? Is he going to go play back?" But yeah, no, he didn't. And yeah, you're right. They upgraded the offensive line. Breaking news. I don't know if you saw this. Larry Ogunjobi, he failed his physical.
Saw that.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's unfortunate for him because he had a payday. Any possibility he comes back to Cincinnati?
I think the possibility is open.
But for that much?
Yeah, probably not for that much. On a later show, I'm going to get into some options there. So.
Oh, awesome. You're already
Stay
ready.
tuned. Yeah.
I like the tease.
Putting Who Day in Your Day on the Adam and Adams show.
All right, top 5 corners. Let's get into this. For the draft, who you got at number 5?
Yeah, so at number 5, and again, my list really hasn't changed much since the announcement of signing Eli Apple, because I really don't think anyway that they were really going to get a guy in the draft who's going to start day one. So most of these guys, I think, are going to be guys that immediately will be more contributors on special teams, maybe more than in the secondary. But it's kind of nice to have some depth pieces since the 2 starting quarterbacks are in Mike Hilton, obviously in the slot. So my number 5 is a corner from Clemson. No, not that corner that you're thinking of. Mario Goodrich actually played alongside Andrew Booth, who's one of the top corner prospects in the draft. What I like about Goodrich is that he's a guy that could probably get in possibly the 5th round. He's instinctive. He has high energy. He's physical. He's a good tackler. We know as Bengals fans that tackling has not been their strong suit over the past couple of seasons. So you want somebody that can wrap up, probably better in zone coverage. I think had 2 interceptions last year, but somebody that, you know, if they target other positions in the draft early on, he's probably somebody that can get to contribute on special teams at first, but maybe somebody that can be a good backup in the future.
I had 4 guys I knew I was going to put in here. The 5th, I was going back and forth. I just want to put honorable mention, Jaquan McMillan, ECU. I think the Bengals should make him a priority free agent. Demarion Williams, Houston. I think the Bengals should make him a priority free agent. And I was down to Damari Mathis and Shamari Connor. I hope I'm saying his name right. Shamari Connor from VTech, Virginia Tech.
Is this guy a cyclist or is he?
He is an actual DB for Virginia Tech.
All right.
It does kind of, yeah. All right. So Damari Mathis, Pitt. I didn't put him on this list because I have a thing for like Pitt defenders. Like for the last 2 years, I'm thinking if you play defense for Pitt, I want the Bengals to draft you, and I think that's kind of clouded my vision. So I kind of left him off. 6th round undrafted guy, left him off. So I'm going with number 5, Shamari Connor, Virginia Tech. Now I really like this guy. I love the way he's tackled. He's a great tackler. He's a great blitzer. He's Mike Hilton-esque. So he'll give you a lot of blitzes off the edge. He's a great tackler. His coverage grades are not the worst because he's actually got some better coverage grades than some of these guys who are going to go before him. Passer QB ratings to his side, 96.5 last year, 86 2020, and 89.5 2019. Not bad, but he's definitely a slot corner, and he might even play safety. So I'm thinking this is twofold. Maybe he could start off as a slot corner, provide depth there, and then depending on what happens with Jesse Bates, try to move into a free safety role. PFF has him at 237, which is almost undrafted rookie free agent. Mock draft database, which is what all the mock drafts have him going, is 192. So that's a 6th round. His pro day is March 22nd. He didn't have any combine numbers. He has 247 career total tackles from the corner spot. So I think, like you said, we need DBs who can tackle. 19 career tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, 4 interceptions. And I think his versatility will allow Anarumo to be able to do some things with him as a rookie.
Good. I like it. My number 4, and I hesitated putting him on the list because I don't want you to call me a homer, but corner from the University of Cincinnati. No, not that corner. Kobe Bryant.
Homer!
Sorry. But no, he's 6'1", 198, has good size. He's probably a 4th, 5th round pick. He doesn't do anything. Nothing he does really jumps off the page. He's not great at any one thing. He's just steady, and that's what I like. He's effective in the passing game, in pass defense. One thing I noticed, he adjusts pretty well. So if he loses somebody in coverage, he's usually pretty good to adjust, get his hands up, and break up a pass here and there. Like I said, he's not really a lockdown, but he's just steady. I liked his tape. I watched him a lot this year. Not to mention he was the Jim Thorpe Award winner for the top DB in football. I mean, so that's saying something. He had 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, 11 pass breakups. So again, if they want to target somebody in later rounds, mid to late rounds, I should say, I think Kobe Bryant would be a really good fit for the Bengals.
I think they might be thinking that as well. My number 4, and not homer, people are going to hate this one, Daxton Hill, Michigan. Now, again, slot corner, so I'm going back to that well. A great tackler, slot corner, so he could provide depth there. Another guy that some are saying should be a free safety. I think he'll be fine as a slot corner, but maybe if he turns into a free safety, another option for Jesse Bates if we can't resign him. 149 total tackles, 7.5 for loss, and 4 interceptions in his career in 3 years. A 4.340, so that's always good when we're talking about defensive backs. He has some decent passer ratings, 81.5 last year and 61.3 in 2020. Pro Football Focus has him 36 overall. mock draft database has him ranked at 31st, and they have their consensus pick for Kansas City Chiefs right before the Bengals pick is Daxton Hall. And if we don't address the outside corners, that could be a bit of a problem.
So I like your pick. I like Daxton Hill. The reason I didn't pick him is because I don't think the Bengals need to target a slot corner in the first round. That was my only justification.
You're absolutely right.
But to remedy that, if we want to target a slot guy, if the Bengals want to target a slot guy in a few rounds later, I've got the perfect guy for you, Glenn. Cam Taylor-Britt, Nebraska. He's fast. He's so athletic. He is so athletic. He plays with high energy. Probably third, fourth rounder for the Bengals. He's 6 foot 200. He actually lined up at safety as well in college. You know, one thing he's a former high school quarterback. I think he was a 3-sport athlete in high school. So like I said, very athletic. He's quick to the football. He adjusts really well. He's a good hitter. Has really good instincts from what I noticed. He's just a guy that his energy is infectious. Just watching video of him. Jojo Doman is another guy that he plays with Nebraska that's getting some hype for the draft, and those two together, I really like their energy.
Question on him: is he a linebacker or is he a DB? Because I looked at him.
Yeah, I think if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, I think he can play linebacker. He might project as a linebacker in the NFL, but he's listed as a corner.
Yeah, because I looked at him, I was like, he's not even a DB. But I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all I had. Cam Taylor-Britt. He's my third.
I looked at a lot at him as well. I'm all about the fast guys at that position. Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that one. My number 3 he was my number 1. I was going into this thinking he was my number 1 corner. This guy, no matter what.
I know who this is.
Yeah. I've been talking about him a while now. And I was like, the Bengals have to come away with him. They have to. My number 3 choice is Marcus Jones out of Houston. Here's what happened. Somebody listened to me. And all of a sudden, Marcus Jones went from a 3rd round pick at the end of the 3rd round to a 2nd round pick at the end of the 2nd round. And I'm like, all right, there's no way the Bengals can select him in the 1st round. There's no way. And then I started looking at him and I was like, maybe I'm going to love him so much that the Bengals can draft him in the 1st round. And I don't quite love him that much. All right, my draft database has him going 88th. Football Focus has him going 91. I don't think he's going to last that long. 153 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 9 interceptions. My goodness. 13 passes defended, tied for 8th last year amongst all defensive backs. 5 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, tied for the lead. 5 interceptions, tied for the lead amongst DBs last year, cornerbacks. Passer rating, his passer rating the last 2 years, 53.5 and 63.3, which is one of the best that I've seen. Now, if you turn on that SMU game and you turn on that UC game, but spoiler alert, there are 2 guys, one from each team playing that might make my top 5 receivers. So it was like, all right, he was charged with these guys to cover these guys one-on-one. He did a decent job, but he has good cover skills and special teams, punt return, kick return, average 14.4 yards per punt return, average 34.3 yards per kick return, 2 touchdowns. My goodness, 2 punt return touchdowns as well. He is what we all wanted Darius Phillips to be. He is what we thought Darius Phillips could be: a good cover corner, a good special teamer. He is that. And we lost Darius Phillips. We can replace Darius Phillips with Marcus Jones. 2nd round pick, yes, maybe, definitely, depending on how the draft falls. 3rd round, I've given up. He's not going to be there. But maybe he will be there. He is my Ben Cleveland this year. He is like my dude. I need him in the Bengals uniform this year. Yes, the Bengals will have to draft him in the 2nd round. And people will say we reached, but if we want him, that's where we're going to have to get him, because he would not last until the end of the 3rd round.
You want to hear my number 2?
Please.
Marcus Jones. He's the Paul Hornung Award recipient last year. Do you know what the Paul Hornung Award is?
I have no idea. Is that like a saxophonist or something?
Yeah. No, he's the most versatile player in college football.
Nice.
You mentioned his special teams. He is a slot corner. He's 5'8". He's not a big guy.
But he plays on the outside.
He
plays.
He played a lot of slot. He played a lot of slot too, though.
He was covering Alex Pierce.
Yeah. He
was trying to cover.
We saw how that went. We saw how that went. Anyway, no, I completely agree with you. He's so athletic, great hands. He has great hands, which you'd love to have in a corner, but also in a punt returner. I think he had several pass or punt returns for a touchdown. So athletic. He's explosive. He's better than Darius Phillips. I would love it if the Bengals get Marcus Jones. I would love it if they could get him in the third, but you're right. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm on the same page with you, brother.
As the draft process was going on, I was like, he's my sleeper pick. Nobody was sleeping on him. I was like, we're going to get him in the third round. Easy. Nope. Not anymore. Those days are over. Yeah, second round. I love your pick. All right. My number two, sorry for stealing your number two, but my number two is, and I went back, number two, number one, two, back and forth. My number two is Roger McCreary, Auburn. I really like him. I liked his cover skills. Now, 4.5 40, it's okay. I would have liked it better. Here's the thing about him. He doesn't look like he plays like a 4.5 guy. He looks like he plays like a 4.3 guy. He's just so smooth. You know, he is the Jamar Chase of defensive backs. He is so smooth when he's running that he looks like he's gliding, and he doesn't look like he's going fast, but nobody's going past him. He's step for step with everybody. He's he plays with a lot of confidence. Yeah, I really like him. I like his coverage skills. 14 passes defended, tied for fourth last year in all of college football. When he's in coverage, he makes everything look easy. He plays faster than he's timed. He's a good tackler, 135 total tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 16 interceptions for his career. Right now, Pro Football Focus has him as ranked 54th. That is severely underrated. I think he should be rated way higher than that. Mock Draft Database has him going 36th, which is closer to where I would put him. His coverage grades are 57.8 from last year, 89.4 from 2 years ago, and 75.6. But he's gotten better year in, year out. I really like him. I like him in coverage. He's a pretty good tackler. My number two, Roger McCreary, Auburn.
I don't hate it. I looked at him. Again, he's another guy. I think he's going to project more as a slot in the NFL. And I didn't pick him for the reason that, again, I just don't know that the Bengals want to target a slot guy in an early round.
I picked him because I didn't think he would be a slot guy.
Okay. We'll see. My number one is Andrew Booth, for that reason that he is a pure outside coverage guy, 6 foot, 200. One thing I noticed with him is his instincts. His instincts are incredible. Obviously, it's hard to see his eyes on tape, but he tends to know where the ball is at all times. He has great hands. He's a guy that, if the Bengals do target a corner in the first round, I think he would be who I would go with, because some of the other corners are already going to be off the board. He was first team all ACC. He had 3 interceptions last year. Super athletic. Played at Clemson, who always, obviously, it's, turns out good athletes and good prospects, NFL prospects. So I went with Andrew Booth on this one. I know I had 2 Clemson guys. I'm sorry. That's who I went with. So give me Andrew Booth in the first round.
I had 1.5 Houston guys. So yeah, I get it. I like Andrew Booth. I liked him less than my 2 and my 1 and my 3, but there were some plays that I saw where he's like, how did he know the ball was there? He's making plays. He's swiping at the ball's behind him. I'm like, oh my goodness. Spoiler alert, he looked like Spike. There was one play, I was like, that is Daredevil in No Way Home, where they're sitting at the table and he catches the brick. Spoiler alert. He catches the brick. How'd you do that? I'm a good attorney, right? I saw Andrew Booth do that. I saw him do that at one point. He's just like, what? I'm like, what the? Like, how did he do that? I'm a good DB. I guess that's what he would tell him. I like that, but I think I don't like him as much as I like my number one. My number one, now here is chalk. I don't know if this is chalk. Kaiir Elam. I thought I was going to dislike him more than I did. And I came away thinking, I really like this dude, except for one thing. There's one major hole, and you kicked off this segment when you said it. He's not going to give you a lot as far as tackling is concerned. But my friend Cyril told me a long time ago, I don't want my DBs getting tackles. I want my DBs getting interceptions. This is that guy. He's not going to get you a whole bunch of tackles. However, if you just want that pure cover corner, super tall, super long, 6'2", 191, fast, 4.3 40. This is the dude. I mean, this is what receivers in the AFC North would I be worried about putting him up against right now? There might be one, but there's Jamar Chase. That will be it. Now I hesitated just because McCreary is a better tackler than he is. That's the only reason I hesitated between the two. However, the only thing I don't like about him is his physicality. But you take that away, you want a great cover corner who's going to shut down a wide receiver. That's your guy. Mock draft database, their consensus is him getting drafted by the Bengals. So I went chalk. PFF has him at 29.
You know, some of the mock drafts I've been doing, the PFF drafts, he's actually fallen to the Bengals in the second at times. Probably not going to happen in the real draft. But the reason I didn't pick him is because I don't see him as a first round DB. If he drops to the second, absolutely, they've got to grab him in the second round.
I think he's too good as a cover corner. I wish his tackling was better. I would not be mad if the Bengals took Elam at number 1. But just as far as covering the wide receiver, I don't think the Bengals could do better than Elam at 31. There you have it. Our top 5 defensive backs in the draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. If you're out there, tell us, what do you think? Who do you want the Bengals to draft at 31? Which DBs do you think will best fit the scheme for the Cincinnati Bengals?
We'll see what the draft holds. Free agency is still well underway, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's stay tuned.
Definitely, let's do that.
Putting Who Day in your day on the Adam and Adams Show.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. And until next time, be safe, be careful, have a good day, have a Who Day.
Who Day.